Okay, I'm playing against international master Oliver Kurmann. Have a Ruy Lopez. Let's go for the closer Ruy Lopez. Bishop b3, castles. Rook to e1, knight to g2 with a standard idea, knight f1, knight g3. Okay, a4 is normal when they move the knights on the king's side. Now he's giving up the a file. I'm not sure if that's good. Let's hit him in the center. Okay, standard knight to g3. I think this is a slight plus for white already because of the open a file. Okay, he's trying to win the d4 pawn. I don't think that that's a good idea because I have a very strong knight on f5 now, and the light squares are very weakened for black, so I'm really not sure about this. Let's see, I'm thinking about queen to g3, attacking the knight on g6 because the pawn on f7 is pinned. Yeah, he needs to move the bishop. Should I develop the c1 bishop or just play queen to g3? Let's go with queen to g3 first. Keep the pressure. Okay, I can... Does taking on h6 do something? Not really. I have nothing after the sacrifice on h6. So let's just develop normally. I think he might try and exchange rooks on the a file at some point, which I'm going to decline. Because I'm the side that that's exerting more pressure, so I benefit nothing from these exchanges. I'm thinking about bishop to c3 and bishop to c2 at some point. With a lot of pressure against black's king. I don't see any active plan for him here at the same time. Bishop c2 or bishop c3 first? Yeah, I need to protect this pawn because he can take the pawn, and then when I take on e4 he just takes the knight on f5. So that was the correct bishop to move. And now the next move will be bishop to c3. Okay, that's the exchange that I mentioned. He is trying to exchange some pieces. That's not gonna happen. Okay, and bishop to c3 I was gonna play anyway, so he's just lost the tempo now. And now he can't really move the knight on g6 because of a checkmate on g7. Okay, that's it, he fell for it. So let's see what could have been done for black in this game. Okay, standard opening moves. And now here I should have played c3. I don't know why I forgot about this move. I don't normally do. That's something to definitely keep in mind because black can play knight to a5 and gain the bishop pair, so a bit of an oversight, I guess. However, we've just transposed to a normal close Ruy Lopez position. And I don't think giving up the a file is a good idea. I don't think there's anything to gain for black from this. And this is probably a small positional plus for white already. Now, however, the computer doesn't really like this position for white, and that's probably because black can keep his pawn, which he got in the game with some sort of a decent position. Let's see why. Yeah, because of this funny move, bishop to e5, and now I can't really play f4 quick enough, which means that he can push c5, c4, push my bishop away, and somehow utilize this pawn majority to create a passed pawn quicker than my pawn stone can get to his king. Now the problem with bishop e5 is that it's a very counterintuitive move, and if 2800 rated international master didn't see it, the chance is that very few other people would. However, I would definitely not be allowing this position against this player again for obvious reasons. He would have checked the game after such a loss. But against anyone else in a 3-minute blitz time control, I don't actually mind trying this because this is not a bad way to try and swindle your opponent. by counting on the fact that they might not see bishop to e5, after which they got an inferior position, I would say. However, I would not be allowing this position either in a rapid or a classical time control, because I don't really think that with sufficient time bishop to e5 is a move that difficult to see. And what it actually does is, even though there are no direct threats on this dark square diagonal, h2 e5, what this bishop does is it just stops my pawn storm and allows black to utilize his extra pawn. So that is a good move. How could I have prevented this? And let's say if I want to play objectively correct here, what could I have done? Yeah, after h3, and this is stopping bishop g4, and white gets a typical closed Ruy Lopez position where he can hope for his typical plan to land the knight on f5 without being a pawn down. So that is definitely the objectively correct move here. So once again, something to definitely keep in mind. Let's see what happened in the game. Bishop b6, and black's position is not immediately losing or still equal according to the computer, but this is definitely easier for white to play because of his activity and kingside pressure. And what I didn't like here for black is this waste of tempo with rook to a2. This gives more than a decent advantage for white, and let's say after knight to h5, queen f3, the computer actually gives up the exchange, which cannot really be a good way to play because there is no compensation for black here. So that means that there was something generally wrong with black's position after rook to a2, and indeed rook to a2 is the decisive mistake here, because after, let's say, queen c6, rook c1, the computer claims objective equality, even though I will still take white's position any day here, once again due to the pressure against the king and white's activity. This is far more pleasant to play for white, as a matter of fact. And this is a blunder for another reason. This knight can just be chopped off because the queen is pinned. So yeah, this is what black should have done. Simply play queen c6 and try and maintain some objective equality. Not a bad game. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.